Hello, listen to me. I know what it feels like to be alone. I know what it's like to feel like nobody sees you, nobody gets you, nobody cares. But let me tell you something. Being alone is not your weakness. It's your greatest advantage. When you're alone, that's when you grow. When you're alone, that's when you hear your own voice. Not the crowd, not the haters, not the doubters, your voice. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants support. But I'm telling you right now, the world won't always cheer for you. And you got to learn to cheer for yourself. You see, greatness isn't born in the spotlight. Greatness is born in the shadows. It's born when nobody's watching. It's born in the grind, in the silence, in the pain, in the tears. So stop crying because you're alone and start climbing. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Prepared for your next level. Prepared for that dream, that goal, that vision. The question is, can you trust the process when there's no applause? Can you still show up when nobody else shows up for you? Because that's what champions do. They train when no one's watching. They believe when no one else does. They stay hungry even when they're alone. So today, I dare you, stop fearing solitude and start using it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and start fighting for yourself. Being alone doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're being built. I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there feeling like the world left you behind, like you're the only one grinding, the only one showing up, the only one still trying while everyone else has moved on. You feel alone, like nobody understands you, like nobody sees your effort, like nobody even cares. But I came here to tell you that feeling you have, that silence you're sitting in, that's not punishment. That's not life beating you down. That's not the universe turning its back on you. Nah, that's growth. That's the moment where the real change begins. See, we live in a time where everybody's obsessed with attention, with likes, with followers, with validation. Everybody wants to be seen, to be heard, to be celebrated. But I need you to understand something. The greatest version of you is not born in the crowd. It's born when the lights are off, when it's just you, your vision, and your will to keep going. That's when you find out who you really are. Let me break it down for you. When you're alone, when it's quiet, when your phone's dry and nobody's texting you, good job, or I see you grinding. That's not the end. That's the beginning. That's the gym for your soul. That's where strength is built. And I mean real strength, not the kind that looks good on social media, but the kind that can't be shaken when life hits you hard. Being alone forces you to stop relying on applause. You start relying on yourself. You stop waiting for motivation and you start creating your own momentum. That's power. That's growth. Because if you only move when people are watching, you're not moving for the right reason. But when you can move in silence, when you can keep showing up, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's watching, that's when you know you're becoming unstoppable. I remember being alone, sleeping in abandoned buildings, no friends, no connections, no money, just me and a dream, just me and a purpose. And yeah, it hurt. Yeah, I wanted someone to tell me I was doing good. I wanted someone to tell me I mattered. But looking back now, that silence was my blessing. It made me dig deeper. It made me find a fire inside me that no one could give and no one could take away. You see, when you're alone, that's when you stop pretending. That's when you stop performing for other people. That's when you look in the mirror and say, this is who I am. This is what I want. And this is what I'm willing to do to get there. That's clarity. That's purpose. That's the truth most people run from because it's uncomfortable. But if you can sit in that discomfort, if you can live in that silence and keep pushing, you will come out stronger than ever. Stop seeing your isolation as a curse. It's not. It's a classroom. It's teaching you who you are. It's giving you time to build, time to study, time to heal, time to prepare. Because when your moment comes, when the opportunity finally knocks, you won't need permission to open that door. You'll already be ready. You'll already be battle tested. You won't be some overnight success. You'll be a survivor, a warrior, a legend in the making. So I don't want you to feel sorry for yourself anymore. I don't want you crying yourself to sleep thinking you're being punished. Nah, you're being positioned, positioned to lead, positioned to rise, positioned to be different. They don't see it yet, but you do. That's why you're alone right now. Not because you're less, but because you're meant for more. And trust me, when it's all said and done, the same people who didn't check on you, The ones who ignored you when you were in the dark, they'll be the first ones to say they knew you could do it. But you'll know who was really there. And most importantly, you'll know that you were there for yourself. And that's what growth looks like, Dot. Let me break something down to you real quick. There's a difference between noise and voice. See, most of you don't even realize how much noise you're living in. You wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone, scroll, notifications, messages, tweets, reels. Everybody's talking. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's telling you who to be, how to act, what to wear, what success looks like. And you wonder why you can't think straight. You wonder why you feel lost. It's because your own voice, that still quiet voice inside of you, is being drowned out by the noise. But let me tell you something. You will never discover your purpose in the crowd. You will never become the best version of yourself until you learn how to get quiet, until you learn how to sit in the silence, shut out the distractions, and listen to you. That's what solitude is. It's not about being lonely. It's not about being cut off from the world. Solitude is power. Solitude is clarity. It's where the fog starts to clear. It's where you stop chasing everybody else's dream and finally figure out what you were put here to do. But you got to be willing to unplug from the world to plug into yourself. You got to be willing to say, I don't care what the algorithm says. I don't care what's trending. I care about what's true to me. Because here's the truth. Deep down, you already know what you're supposed to do. You already know what your gift is. You already know what your heart's been trying to tell you. But you can't hear it because you're too busy listening to everybody else. You're letting society drown out your soul. You're letting fear speak louder than your faith. So when I tell you to embrace solitude, I'm not telling you to isolate. I'm telling you to listen. I'm telling you to reconnect. Because the moment you get still, the moment you shut off the noise, that's when you finally hear the truth. That's when that inner voice, the one that's been whispering to you since day one, finally gets loud enough for you to notice. And let me tell you, that voice doesn't lie. That voice doesn't play games. That voice doesn't care about likes or followers or status. That voice cares about your calling. When I was out there homeless, when I had nothing, I didn't have people in my corner cheering me on. I didn't have fans. I didn't have validation. All I had was that voice inside saying, keep going, don't quit. There's something greater on the other side of this. That's all I had, and that's all I needed, because that voice was mine. It wasn't bought. It wasn't borrowed. It was real. And if you never give yourself a chance to hear that voice, if you never step away from the noise long enough to really listen, you'll live your whole life chasing someone else's version of success. You'll spend your days trying to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. You'll keep grinding, keep hustling, but you'll never feel fulfilled. Why? Because you never stopped long enough to ask yourself, what do I want? Who am I really? That's why solitude matters, because it brings the truth to the surface, because it strips away the performance, the pretending, the pressure. It's just you, raw, unfiltered. And yeah, that can be uncomfortable. It can be scary, but it's necessary, because you can't build a strong foundation on noise. You need silence. You need stillness. You need you. So if you're in a season right now where you feel alone, don't panic. Don't run. Don't fill the space with more distractions. Lean into it. Embrace it. Use it. Because that's your chance to finally meet yourself again. And when you find that voice, that real, authentic, undeniable voice, everything changes. Your choices change. Your energy changes. Your life changes. So no, solitude is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's your mirror. It's your reminder that deep down you already have everything you need. You just need to shut out the world long enough to hear it. That everybody wants the spotlight. Everybody wants the moment, the platform, the applause. We've been conditioned to believe that success is only real when it's seen, that it only matters when people are watching. But let me tell you something that most people won't say. The most powerful transformations in your life, they don't happen on stage. They don't happen when the cameras are rolling. They don't happen when you're training. They happen when you're all by yourself, in the dark, in the quiet, when nobody's watching, when nobody even cares. That's where the real growth, that's where the magic happens. It's not glamorous. It's not shiny. It's not easy. It's just real. It's you versus you. It's you in that room at 4 a.m. deciding whether to hit snooze or get up and grind. It's you making the hard choice when nobody's there to give you credit. It's you putting in the work day after day and not seeing results right away, but doing it anyway because you believe in the vision. See, we've got it twisted. We think success is about showing up when the world is clapping. But the truth is, success is about showing up when the world is silent. when no one's giving you a pat on the back, when nobody's posting about you, when nobody even knows your name. You gotta want it so bad that the absence of a team doesn't stop your effort. You gotta be hungry enough to move without motivation, to grind without recognition. Some of y'all are frustrated right now. You're putting in the work and you feel like nobody sees you. You feel invisible. You're trying to change, trying to grow, trying to level up, but it's quiet. No applause, no congratulations. And you're asking yourself, what's the point? Let me tell you what the point is. This is where the transformation begins. This is where your character gets built, where your mindset shifts, where your roots go deep. Because if you can keep going when no one's watching, then you'll be unshakable when everybody is. You don't build champions in the ring. You build them in the gym, in the dark, with no cameras, no fans, just sweat and pain and repetition. You build greatness in silence. Michael Jordan wasn't great because of the games he played. He was great because of the hours he spent practicing when no one was looking. Kobe Bryant was in the gym at 3 a.m., not because someone told him to, but because he knew who he wanted to become. That's what it takes. That's what nobody talks about. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's in those private battles. It's in the discipline to stay on track when you could so easily fall off. It's in the quiet victories that nobody will ever clap for, like choosing not to quit, like getting up after failure, like doing it scared, like showing up when you feel broken. Those are the moments that build power. Those are the bricks that build your legacy. You don't need a crowd to become great. You need commitment. You don't need an audience to transform. You need belief. You don't need permission. You need consistency. And that's something only you can give yourself. You got to be okay with being unknown for a season. You got to be okay with looking crazy to people who don't see what you see. Because what you're building, it's not for everybody. It's not for the shallow. It's not for the fake. It's for the ones who are willing to sacrifice for something greater. So I don't care if nobody's watching you right now. That's a gift. That's freedom. That's the space where you can fail and learn, where you can stretch and grow, where you can fall and rise without the pressure, without the judgment, without the noise. That's your advantage. That's your edge. Don't waste it waiting for someone to notice you. Notice yourself. Recognize your own greatness. Be your own motivation. Because when the moment finally comes, when the light finally hits you, you won't be nervous. You won't be new. You'll be ready because you've already done the work in silence, in discipline, in truth. And that's where the most powerful transformations always happen. You keep waiting for someone to believe in you. You keep waiting on a pat on the back, a compliment, a share, a you got this. But let me ask you a real question. What if nobody says it? What if nobody ever tells you you're enough? What if nobody ever shows up to clap for you? What if nobody ever picks you? Will you still rise? Will you still grind? Will you still believe? I need you to hear me. If you're waiting for the world to validate you before you move, you're already behind. You're already in trouble. You've got to be your own biggest fan, your own motivation, your own light in the dark. Because the truth is, the world doesn't owe you belief. The world isn't going to stop just to tell you that you're good enough. You've got to know it already. Too many of you are sitting on talent because you're waiting on permission. You're sitting on dreams because you're waiting for someone to give you the green light. You're waiting on your mom, your boss, your best friend, your coach, your followers. But here's what I learned. If I had waited on people to believe in me, I would still be sleeping in abandoned buildings. I'd still be lost. I'd still be dreaming small. I had to make up in my mind. If nobody else claps, I'm going to clap for myself. If nobody else sees me, I still see me. If nobody else believes, no, that's survival. That's purpose. That's what champions are made of. You think the greats waited on applause. You think Serena waited for the crowd to cheer before she picked up the racket. You think LeBron waited for somebody to say you got potential before he showed up and did the work. No, they believed first. They encouraged themselves. They looked in the mirror and said, I got this. And they backed it up with grind, with consistency, with fire. You've got to do the same thing. You've got to hype yourself up when no one else is talking about you. You've got to look at your reflection and speak life over it. I'm built for this. I'm strong. I'm ready. I'm prepared. And then you go out there and prove it. Not for them, but for you. The reason some of you can't grow is because you don't trust yourself. You keep doubting. You keep second guessing. Every time you hit a wall, you think maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're not chosen. Maybe you don't have what it takes. And that mindset, that doubt, is killing your dreams before they even have a chance to breathe. Let me be real with you. It's not the haters stopping you. It's not the critics. It's you.
It's your own lack of belief. It's your refusal to stand behind yourself. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you don't believe it, you'll never move. And if you don't move, you'll never grow. You'll never succeed. You'll never get to where you were built to go. I had to wake up every day and talk to myself like my life depended on it, because it did. I had to say, Eric, you're going to make it. Eric, you're not going back. Eric, you're going to be a voice for the people. You're going to walk in your purpose. Keep going. I didn't have a cheer squad. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have a platform, but I had belief, and belief will carry you when nothing else will. You've got to become the kind of person who can keep going without applause, who can stay hungry without validation, who can stand in a room full of doubt and still say, I'm enough. So today, I need you to stop looking out the window and start looking in the mirror. Stop waiting for someone to crown you and start walking like royalty. Encourage yourself every single day. Hype yourself. Speak over your own life, because the day you believe in yourself fully, truly, completely is the day your life changes forever. Nobody's coming to save you. You are the rescue. You are the answer. You are the fire. Believe first, move first, speak life first, and watch the world catch up later. You keep waiting for someone to believe in you. You keep waiting on a pat on the back, a compliment, a share, a you got this. But let me ask you a real question. What if nobody says it? What if nobody ever tells you you're enough? What if nobody ever shows up to clap for you? What if nobody ever picks you? Will you still rise? Will you still grind? Will you still believe? I need you to hear me. If you're waiting for the world to validate you before you move, you're already behind. You're already in trouble. You've got to be your own biggest fan, your own motivation, your own light in the dark. Because the truth is, the world doesn't owe you belief. The world isn't going to stop just to tell you that you're good enough. You've got to know it already. Too many of you are sitting on talent because you're waiting on permission. You're sitting on dreams because you're waiting for someone to give you the green light. You're waiting on your mom, your boss, your best friend, your coach, your followers. But here's what I learned. If I had waited on people to believe in me, I would still be sleeping in abandoned buildings. I'd still be lost. I'd still be dreaming small. I had to make up in my mind. If nobody else claps, I'm going to clap for myself. If nobody else sees me, I still see me. If nobody else believes in me, I believe anyway. That's not ego. That's survival. That's purpose. That's what champions are made of. You think the greats waited on applause. You think Serena waited for the crowd to cheer before she picked up the racket. You think LeBron waited for somebody to say you got potential before he showed up and did the work. No, they believed first. They encouraged themselves. They looked in the mirror and said, I got this. And they backed it up with grind, with consistency, with fire. You've got to do the same thing. You've got to hype yourself up when no one else is talking about you. You've got to look at your reflection and speak life over it. I'm built for this. I'm strong. I'm ready. I'm prepared. And then you go out there and prove it. Not for them, but for you. The reason some of you can't grow is because you don't trust yourself. You keep doubting. You keep second guessing. Every time you hit a wall, you think maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're not chosen. Maybe you don't have what it takes. And that mindset, that doubt is killing your dreams before they even have a chance to breathe. Let me be real with you. It's not the haters stopping you. It's not the critics. It's you. It's your own lack of belief. It's your refusal to stand behind yourself. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you don't believe it, you'll never move. And if you don't move, you'll never grow. You'll never succeed. You'll never get to where you were built to go. I had to wake up every day and talk to myself like my life depended on it, because it did. I had to say, Eric, you're going to make it. Eric, you're not going back. Eric, you're going to be a voice for the people. You're going to walk in your purpose. Keep going. I didn't have a cheer squad. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have a platform. But I had belief, and belief will carry you when nothing else will. You've got to become the kind of person who can keep going without applause, who can stay hungry without validation, who can stand in a room full of doubt and still say, I'm enough. So today, I need you to stop looking out the window and start looking in the mirror. Stop waiting for someone to crown you and start walking like royalty. Encourage yourself every single day. Hype yourself. Speak over your own life, because the day you believe in yourself fully, truly, completely is the day your life changes forever. Nobody's coming to save you. You are the rescue. You are the answer. You are the fire. Believe first, move first, speak life first, and watch the world catch up later. You ever wonder why you're not where you want to be, why you keep saying you want it, but you're not getting any closer? Let me tell you, it's not always a lack of talent. It's not that you don't have the skill. It's not that you don't have the vision. The problem is, you're distracted. You're busy watching everybody else eat instead of cooking your own meal. You're scrolling instead of studying. You're talking instead of training. And the reason you can't focus is because you're never alone long enough to lock in. We live in a noisy world. Everybody's talking. Everybody's posting. Notifications going off every 2 seconds. You can't even sit for 5 minutes in silence without feeling like you're missing something. You can't even think without checking who liked your last post. But here's the truth. The version of you that's going to break through, that version, it only shows up when you shut the noise off. Sometimes life separates you. Sometimes life pulls you away from the people you thought would be in your corner forever. And at first, it feels like punishment. It feels like rejection. But it's not. It's preparation. Because when you're finally alone, there's nothing left to hide behind. No distractions, no crowd, no drama. It's just you, your grind, and your goals. That's when the work gets real. Being alone forces you to face yourself. It makes you confront what you've been avoiding. It makes you stop blaming others and start taking accountability. You start realizing, I'm the only one responsible for my future. I can't blame my circle, my parents, my boss. This is on me. And that kind of clarity, that's power. That's where focus is born. You think it's a coincidence that every great achiever had a season of separation. Come on. Isolation is not the enemy, it's the setup. That season where you're off the radar, that's where legends are made. That's when you study the most, train the hardest, plan the clearest. That's when you say no to everything that doesn't move the needle. You don't have time for gossip. You don't have time for laziness. You don't have time for empty conversations. You're too focused. You're building something that requires all of you. Some of you, you keep missing your breakthrough because you're too available. You're too busy entertaining distractions, too busy chasing approval, and you wonder why your energy's off. You wonder why you're drained, why you're not making progress. It's because you're pouring into everything except your purpose. You've got to protect your space. You've got to protect your peace. You've got to be willing to turn off the phone, step away from the noise, and say, I need to lock in. I've got goals. I've got purpose. I've got work to do. And yeah, some people won't understand. Some people will say you're acting different. Let them talk, because while they're out there partying, you're preparing. While they're distracted, you're developing. While they're wasting time, you're becoming. That's what being alone does. It cuts the fluff. It makes everything clear. You start seeing who's really for you. You start recognizing who's draining you. And more importantly, you start hearing yourself again. You start remembering what you wanted before the world told you what to settle for. You get back to your why. You get laser focused. You don't need a crowd to get started. You need discipline. You don't need 100 people around you. You need one goal and tunnel vision. Because when you get serious, I mean really serious, you'll start cutting distractions like your life depends on it. And you know why? Because it does. So if you're alone right now, good. That's where it starts. That's your edge. That's your opportunity to go deep, to go hard, to go all in. No interruptions, no validation needed. Just execution, just purpose, just hunger. Being alone isn't weakness. It's work, and the kind of focus you can tap into when it's just you, your grind, and your goals. That focus is lethal. That's the kind of focus that moves mountains. That's the kind of focus that moves mountains. That's the kind of focus that makes people ask, where did they come from? And the answer is simple. You came from the silence. You came from the focus. You came from being alone and choosing to rise anyway. Let's get real. Growth doesn't live in comfort. You can't stretch and stay safe at the same time. You can't level up and stay surrounded by people who want you to stay where you are. If you're always chasing company, if you're always trying to stay warm and cozy, if you're always trying to feel good, let me tell you something. You are not going to grow. See, we've been tricked. We've been told that being uncomfortable is a bad thing, that being alone means something's wrong with us, that pain is something to avoid. But I'm telling you, If you're not uncomfortable, you're not progressing. If you're not stepping out of the circle that makes you feel good, then you're not getting anywhere, because growth only happens when you step into the unknown, when you let go of the familiar, when you stop needing people to hold your hand. Everybody wants to be great until it's time to leave the group chat. Everybody wants to evolve until it's time to sit by themselves. But if you're always running back to company, if you're always running back to the people who don't challenge you, then all you're doing is staying stuck. All you're doing is repeating the same cycle year after year, and you're calling it progress, but it's not. It's just comfort dressed up as motion. You gotta understand this. Growth is not pretty. It's not popular. It's not easy. It's lonely. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. And that's why most people don't change. Not because they can't, but because they won't. Because they're addicted to the safety. They're addicted to having people around, even if those people are toxic, even if those people don't believe in them, even if those people are holding them back. They'd rather have bad company than no company, and that mindset is destroying potential. I'm telling you, you gotta get to a place in your life where you say, I love myself enough to walk alone if I have to, where you say, I'm not going to dim my light just so other people don't feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to shrink myself just to fit in, because every time you choose comfort over calling, you delay your destiny. Every time you choose company over character, you rob yourself of who you could become. You can't become who you were created to be by clinging to who you used to be, and you can't keep growing if you're surrounded by people who don't want to grow with you. That's the truth. Growth requires separation. Growth requires sacrifice. It requires you to say, I'm not going to the party this weekend. I've got goals. It requires you to say, I love y'all, but I'm doing something different now. I've got dreams to chase, and no, it won't feel good at first. It might hurt. It might feel like loss, but it's not loss. It's alignment. It's you stepping into your power. And I promise you, once you start walking in your purpose, the right people will show up. People who push you, people who elevate you, people who remind you who you are when you forget. But you won't find them if you're too busy entertaining the ones who drain you. You won't find them if you keep running back to comfort every time growth knocks on your door.